Good.
I think there's a good distance right here.
All right. Hello. Thank you, my beautiful people. This is the Not My Fault podcast. I'm joined by Viddy, president of the Liddy Committee, Mike, the ball wonder. And thank you again for downloading. Thank you for bootlegging. Thank you for checking out the mixtape. Thank you most of all for listening to the podcast. And today we got a nice one for you that we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about a few things related to games, our favorite subject. Not our wives' favorite subject, but our favorite subject. And we're gonna talk about some PUBG. We're gonna talk about Fortnite, which PUBG is still better than Fortnite. Debatable. But we're going to talk about that. Console, PC, have some fun with that. And as always, share some fun stories with that. So, without further ado, y'all remember that? You remember that from, what was that, Carlito's Way, right?
I just want to say that I will be the ball wonder, but at least I can say I can grow a beard.
You can grow a
beard. I was going to say.
I can't grow a beard, though.
I never knew that was... You had that nickname. I was like,
I call him.
Came out of left field. I wasn't ready for that.
That's the ball wonder.
He's the only one that calls me that. But then
we should just jump. We should just jump gaming right into NBA 2K because Mike has some things he's want to say.
Yeah, we'll get into that definitely for sure.
Seriously. All right, look, man. I was a little lit.
I mean, you want to go right into Twitch? We can go right into Twitch.
Listen, we can talk Twitch. Listen, I was a little bit inebriated.
I watched the replay, bro. That shit was scary.
The crazy part about it was
I thought you were gonna die towards the end.
So yeah, I mean, so like it's about, I don't know, like maybe 10 of us, and we're on an NBA 2K online league, and so we all got games against each other, and obviously me and this guy over here, Alex, we got to play each other. So I said, listen. It's gonna get ugly. I'm warning. I'm telling him it's gonna get ugly. He's confident. He's talking a whole bunch of trash. Like it's gonna get ugly. Then the man has the audacity that he wants to broadcast this game on Twitch. I'm like, oh, you want to broadcast it? You want to show the world the beating?
Twitch.tv/NMFpod.
Yeah. So now basically he's allowing me to get receipts on these ass kickings, if you will. So to make a long story short, by the end of the game, it was me. 105, I think 40, what was it? 100 to 30. It was a 70-point win.
Yeah,
that's all I know.
Exactly 70 points.
Look, mistakes were made. Now I'm gonna go ahead. Let me defend myself here a little bit. I'm not that bad.
Ugh.
I can't really defend myself. It was a horrible game.
It's funny because going into the game, my goal was I think it was 8-minute quarters.
I don't remember.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, my goal was I told myself, listen, end of the quarters, win by at least 10. Win the quarter by 10 so you can get a 40-point win. That was my goal, but I mean, he just made it a lot easier than that. So I almost doubled that.
Tied by like halftime or something?
It was an hour stream, so I pulled up the rewind. I was like, all right, I'm not going to sit through this whole hour. Let me just kind of forward to where the disaster started. It was probably like midway through the second quarter. It was like 20, so I forwarded to like midway through the third, and I think he scored 8 points from like the third quarter to the end of the fourth quarter.
That sounds about
you were like, I think you were falling asleep. You were burping. You were talking to Mike, and he wasn't responding. He was just like,
well, that was my fault.
He was in kill mode.
There's some settings like on Twitch where it says like, do you want the volume on? And like I just bypass that. Like I'm like, screw that, and I just want to play the game or whatever. So that's my fault.
So if anybody doesn't know who Twitch is, and you should know who Twitch is if you're listening to this, but if you don't, Twitch is basically a broadcasting platform for a ton of different stuff, but it's usually gamer centered. I mean, people do like real life stuff. I think what's her name? That porn star, the ex-porn star,
Mia Khalifa.
Mia Khalifa, right? Honey?
Yeah.
She cooks on there. Like, she cooks.
Yeah, so there's this...
She does?
Yeah.
On Twitch?
She spends a day, like, cooking on
there.
there.
Yeah, you basically switch your game mode to IRL in real life, and that's when people do anything that is not gaming related. It's just like real life experiences, going out in the street, doing, shows like this. And yeah, that's kind of booming. It's not as big as what the video game
Amazon owns it, right?
I want to say, yeah.
I believe Amazon owns it. If they don't own it, they partnered with it.
Yeah.
But
didn't she recently? She was recently on a podcast with Lance Armstrong. Did you see that?
No.
She was recently. No, I'm serious. Like Lance Armstrong.
The doper?
Mia Khalifa. That's the one that's like she's.
Yeah, I know her.
Right?
But the bike got Lance on her?
Yes, the bike.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
he had a pod. I didn't really catch the whole podcast, but I mean, I kind of like skimmed through it a little bit or whatever, and like she's talking about how her life, and I guess she used to weigh like 160 pounds, and she lost a lot of weight, and she was saying that the reason why she got into porn was. Like,
say hi to your mother for me.
to get some type of acceptance or like made her feel wanted, I guess. She said she felt ashamed, but
That sounds pretty dark, man.
yeah, it was like.
I'm sure they have.
And it was funny because she was kind of coming across that way, but in my mind, I'm looking at Lance. I'm like, yo, I know you want to smash. Like, stop. Like, what's going on here? Like, you trying to get?
I doubt Lance wants to smash.
Come on, man.
The guy.
He's a dope head, bro.
The guy dope.
You gonna take anything away from me?
Listen, you wouldn't dope him to do. He has like, doesn't he have like one
He
nut?
ruined his whole legacy.
He has like
man.
one nut.
He ruined his whole legacy.
The guy almost
He's
died.
out here struggling like us doing pods, bro. He ruined his whole legacy, man.
I mean, I would have. I'd have done the same thing. It may that reflects poorly on me,
Yeah.
but if I'm him, man, I'd have done the same thing. And fuck those French, and I'm winning that tour,
Yeah.
and I'm doing it 19 times.
I
if
mean,
could.
there's some people that could dope, and you look past that, man. But when you think Lance Armstrong now, all you think is that he got caught and
Exactly,
he got
yeah.
stripped of everything. You think A-Rod, he's all right. He
I
dope,
think-
but he's a goat. He's a god.
I think the difference
He's on
with
Fox.
A-Rod,
You know,
He's all right.
exactly. The difference with
A-Rod's
A-Rod
okay.
is A-Rod. I think he's gone over and like beyond as far as repairing his image.
Yeah.
Like he's been very cognizant of that as opposed to Lance. Lance kind of like been in the shadows. I mean, you don't hear none of him.
Yeah.
And A-Rod's very knowledgeable and just always smiling and everybody loves A-Rod. Like
Yeah.
I think the thing that did Lance on, and we're not gonna go too much into Lance, obviously, but the thing that did Lance, in my opinion, was that he went so hard with how he didn't do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
He went super
Yeah.
hard with it, and then he had the bracelets to live strong, and everybody's donating to him and all this crazy shit.
Yep.
And then he turns out to be a phony, and that's what did him dirty. A-Rod was in the dugout sending
all right,
baseballs
so
to
maybe
chicks.
A-Rod was
Like,
a
give
backup
me your
person.
number.
Maybe like a Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens.
They doing
type,
Barry
you know.
dirty.
Barry.
They're doing Barry dirty.
But come on, you don't think they? I mean, this isn't the
No,
sports.
I
segment.
firmly believe he Jews, but I think they're doing him dirty.
I think the difference is though, like
I mean, you can see the progression, like just images alone, without even like seeing the numbers.
What's
The
up
guy-
with it, vanilla face?
that's Barry, basically.
it's crazy because with Barry, he would have made
No,
it.
that's Sammy. That's Sammy turning. You
Oh,
turn into a
man.
vanilla face.
Yeah,
But yeah.
vanilla face. Sammy looks like a bottle of Pepto-Bismol right now. It's insane. Like that's like Michael Jackson on steroids or something. It's ridiculous.
But so moving from there, that's what Twitch is. It's a platform where everybody broadcasts gaming. We went from that to juicing.
Yeah.
But you broadcast your games and so on, and we do it here at the NMF Pod. Mike does it on his skit. His name, Bronx Legend. Don't holler my name for Vidal. I'm King Leche. And together we just broadcast games all over the place. And sometimes we broadcast L's. Usually it's me handing out like a FIFA L or something like that. Overwatch. Overwatch, man. Overwatch. I love Overwatch.
Yeah.
Look,
I mean,
man,
You,
I know
you,
you
you
don't
should
play.
you should retract your FIFA statement. I mean, I don't play Overwatch,
Oh, wow.
No.
because you've caught about 17 L's in a row in
No,
FIFA.
no,
like
no,
it's
no,
just
no,
not
no,
even debatable right
No.
now.
I'll give him
Oh
my
my
credit.
God.
He grinded his way up.
I
did.
grinded. I
because
did. I definitely
he came
did.
in and he knew that he wasn't that good.
Nah,
he
I
came
wasn't.
late to
I
the
wasn't.
game.
I-
He did.
Very
But
late.
I
very
seen
late.
the progression and
Yeah.
he got really good. He got, that's how you grind the FIFA. You got to just
Exactly.
put in the hours and just keep playing, playing.
That and they slowed down FIFA form. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like the FIFA of old. You know what I'm saying? They slowed it down and he caught up, and that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. He's
You know
a
what my
good
problem
player
was?
now.
When I first started playing FIFA, I would just try to play with fast players and then just run.
Too aggressive.
And way too aggressive. And
Yeah.
I learned you can't play like that.
You can't.
You got to use dribble moves. Like that's how you play the game.
Pass,
you know what I mean?
pass.
Exactly,
pass,
whatever.
pass.
And then once
Yep.
I learned how to do that, I mean, guys like him, I mean, that was light. This is light work over here to the left. So I mean,
He got
can-
better though too, because I coached him up early
Yeah,
on.
he used to- he
I
used to
coached,
bust my ass,
I
yeah.
coached him up early on, and then I seen his progression. I was like, all right.
Well, he came to my house this past summer. Just a quick story. He came to my house this past summer. We played Madden. I think I beat him by like 20. Then we played FIFA. Played like 5 games. He did not score all my life. He did not score not one goal in all 5 games.
So let me tell you something.
I
About
either
FIFA.
won
Let me-
2-1, 1-0, 3-0. It didn't matter. I won all 5 games. Then we played. I don't know if you remember. We played the show afterwards.
Right.
That game was close. It went like I know it definitely went extra innings. It might have went 11 or 13 innings, and I hit a walk-off home run with Aaron Judge. That was
Oh,
pretty
damn.
dope.
That is a sick way to end it.
It was a sick way to end it. So
He's
like
stunned.
I
He's
give,
still stunned.
I don't give. Listen, I give out L's. I'm not getting L's, but him, this is King L.
King Legend.
Yeah, King Legend. Well, there you go. Exactly. Hey.
The else is short for
And so back to Twitch. This guy he's not that nice, but we're going back to Twitch. So anyway, back to Twitch. He's not I'm going into he's not that good, right? I'm going to debate this for the rest of the show. So with that, the Twitch platform has been booming. Like, I mean, I knew about it a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago. And
talk about that time you played Rampage on Twitch.
Yo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
so, he told you a dirty story of yours.
Who, Rampage?
Yeah, remember you told him a dirty story?
Yeah, I told him about the nonsense. He was laughing why called me King Leche and all this. I can't.
No, but you told him, like, during in game, you were telling him a story about a situation that you were in, and he was like, kind of repeating it to his followers.
Yeah, was it?
I forgot what it was.
I think it was about maybe an ex or something.
Yeah,
usually all your nightmare stories.
It was a nightmare story. Yeah, and I probably put it on an earlier show.
I think the girl next to him was laughing too because he had like a female with him too.
Yeah, they were laughing at my pain, But so Rampage is a prominent UFC fighter and so on. And he a lot of UFC fighters actually broadcast. Mighty Mouse is really big on there. He's actually he's really good. But Mighty Mouse is good on there.
Beast.
Rampage, obviously, I started watching Rampage, and I subscribed. You subscribe to these guys, like they have their own channels, they have their own schedules, and so I subscribed to him. And as a subscriber, one of the perks was you get to play with him or talk and so on. And I played him in matches of like UFC, so we would get on and talk shit. And I can't remember what story it was. And I was telling him about.
And you took an L against him too.
No, I took him to like the final round.
But you lost.
Yeah,
on some bullshit.
I thought you gave it to him just because it was Rampage.
Nah, I ain't give him nothing. He ended up winning that, but shout out Rampage. He ended up winning that, but I'll be back. And so on. And with that, like, there've been even more prominent guys that grow up. Most notably, Dr. Disrespect. The Doc. Right? And
1993, 94.
There's a 1992, 93, right?
No, 93, 94, Blockbuster Video Game International Champion.
International.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, International Video Game Championship.
International.
Huge word there.
He is hilarious by and large. He's just hilarious.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, and just kind of talking about how I got back into gaming. It was definitely Leche for sure. He said he introduced me back into Twitch, and I was like, I'm more into this DFS stuff. I don't really want to, go back to gaming. I feel like I'm wasting my time. And then he showed me a Dr. Disrespect video, and that was the end of it. And I kind of just bought PUBG. I started like forgetting about gambling. I was like, this is a healthier way for me to not spend money.
Forgot about gambling.
And that was the end of it, man. I haven't looked back. I mean, I still haven't won. I still haven't gotten a chicken dinner after 3 months of playing PUBG and Fortnite, but still grinding, still trying to learn. And the next step is to get a PC rig.
Give me a hug.
So, Dr. Disrespect, he brought everybody in. If you don't see him, it's twitch.tv, Dr. Disrespect live. Trust me, he's probably the most entertaining thing you'll watch. If you're into games, he's the most entertaining thing you'll watch on Twitch, by and large. And there's plenty of people that have huge followings, and you find who you like. But he's just funny. Yeah, Ninja. Shout out Ninja. He's just hilarious. And with that said, the prominent games on Twitch, there's always a list of like top games, right? And top games right now, none other than Fortnite. You just mentioned here, Fortnite. Yeah. So, Fortnite itself, you can go ahead and tell people what Fortnite is.
I mean, so usually whoever has the biggest following is driving all the volume towards the game. So if a name like Dr. Disrespect, Ninja, Shroud, if they're playing a certain game and they have the most following, then that's going to drive the numbers for that game and kind of build a buzz around it. So the thing with Fortnite, it's free. It's across all the consoles. It's across PC, and it's a Looney Tunes game. It's like a little kid's game. It's blowing up all over social. Kids from like, I know a kid that's like 13 years old, and he's fucking. Excuse me. He sent me a snap saying,
"This is an adult podcast.
I'm sorry. This is a kid.
You can say that.
A friend of mine's child sent me a snap and say, "You don't want to see me on Fortnite." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? What the hell, man?" And he had like some crazy hashtag shared his IG with me. I'm like, "No, I'm not on social, and I'm definitely not going to show you my Fortnite skills because I'm terrible, and I'm not on PS." But yeah, it's out of this world right now. It's blown up and. Ninja, the biggest Twitch artist right now, he's got 95.
Twitch artist? That's what it's called?
Yeah, Twitch.
So
Twitch
bang bang,
beats.
skid skid.
That's how you
95 million subscribers, 3
Nigga.
million
Wow.
YouTube subscribers. This guy's killing it, and he got lucky off. He used to be a Halo competitive gamer,
Yep.
and he got on Fortnite. He's nasty as hell. He plays mad aggressive, doesn't camp, nothing like that. And he just got this following. He does like corny little voices. He's cringeworthy. You watch him, you want to cringe. You're like, how would you pay money to watch this kid? And he's just killing the game right now. And Garcia can't stand it.
I
And
can't because it's so boring to watch compared
is.
to Disrespect.
Yeah,
Honestly, and it's
yeah.
because of that. Compared to Dr. Disrespect, he's just very
So,
boring to watch.
Let me ask you just because I'm not. I mean, I've seen PUBG. I've seen Fortnite, but I never personally played the games. So Ninja is
He's the best Fortnite
he's
player.
for
you would say.
Fortnite, and obviously
Most
Dr.
popular. I wouldn't even say he's the best.
most popular, most kills in the industry right now.
I guess you can say he's the best. Yeah, he's up there.
So
I mean, so he has the biggest following on
Twitch.
Twitch for that, and then
he's
and then,
in all gaming for the like YouTube and
Yeah.
Twitch.
Okay.
He's the biggest Fortnite known person right now,
Yeah.
and Fortnite's like on top of the world.
So
right
he's
now.
probably the most, if not the most, one of the most popular gamers out right now, streamers, and it's totally driven through this Fortnite game.
but
Yeah.
is it fair to say that excuse me, that Dr. Disrespect is probably the #1 guy on Twitch for PUBG?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh.
you could
All right.
could make that argument. There's some people will say Shroud right now and some other guys, but
Okay.
the thing with like PUBG versus Fortnite is that PUBG is a little more intimidating, and it's not an easy game to pick up. It's not free. It's not across all the consoles, so it's a little bit more intimidating. So what this Fortnite game is attracting is young kids, and that's who has all the money in his
PUBG is only Xbox.
It's Xbox and PC.
Oh, and PC.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I mean,
So Fortnite basically copied their model and pushed it out to the consoles before PUBG even had a chance.
so Fortnite
and
came out
they're-
after PUBG.
Yeah, and
Oh,
they're like super optimized where like they're constantly pushing out updates. There's no lag. Everything's pretty clean, but it's just like a kiddie game.
And that's funny.
And you've probably seen clips. I'm sure you have.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I'm on Twitter and I see a lot of debates. What's better, PUBG or Fortnite? And
so if you're a little more like a hardcore gamer, I say you'd have to say PUBG.
I mean, honestly, from what I've seen, I personally think I would be more of a PUBG guy. But I mean, I've seen the debates, the arguments. I've seen guys say, but Fortnite is it's like a kid's game. It's a cartoon, and then guys they come back and they make their arguments. So. Yeah.
It's fun though.
So-
they're both fun
So
in their own right.
They're both very fun games, and
they-
they're both in the same class of game, a battle royale,
and
which
it's
is this new like genre
Yeah.
that is kind of coming out of these first-person, third-person shooters.
Right.
And with that, the way it works is you get 100 people, you drop them on a map, you get
Right.
a parachute into the map, and you get a zone that you have to go into, a circle, and you have to make it
Right.
there within like 2 or 3 minutes or so, depending on the game. I don't remember right
Seen
now,
that.
and you make it to this area, and it's basically King of the Hill. So you go in there and you're racing to be the guy to end up winning. A chicken dinner is you're number 1 out of 100. So you kill
Yeah.
99 other people. You won't kill 99 people, but you know what I mean. You race to be the
Have
last
any-
man standing.
Have any? excuse me again. Have any one of you like actually won? Like came in first yet?
Yeah, I got a chicken dinner.
He did.
You?
Come on.
In his first few days.
Yeah, I got chicken dinner on PUBG.
Yeah, that's dope.
But and it's that's really the whole draw, right? You get in there and it's like the most intense freaking 20 minutes that you have in your life trying to be that number 1 because you're just like
Yeah.
every sound you hear, you hear footsteps all over the place. You hear these footsteps and you're just running around like, oh shit, where that? Left, right, and the call outs is like north 330. You're doing like geographical compass and everything. So and that's in PUBG. PUBG's a little more, I would say. I'm not gonna say sophisticated.
Strategic, maybe.
But it's a little more intense, I think, and more. It's tighter gameplay, slower.
But
pacing.
Fortnite is the same way that it's like 100 people to start the game and last
Same
man
format, same gameplay style.
They even
third
certain
person.
elements of how the map is designed.
Yeah,
to
there's
be
some
honest,
things that you can tell they took
it's
from
similar.
PUBG as well. But and PUBG is just a short name. It's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is what it's called. But everybody just calls it PUBG. And Fortnite copied essentially the same formula and built
Right.
it. And what they did differently is they took a different art style. And that's why we call it Looney Tunes. They took this really cartoony kind of like...
kind of like Overwatch, right?
Kind of, but Overwatch is a beast game, though.
Why you get offended, though?
Overwatch,
I mean,
because
I didn't say nothing offensive.
I
I
said
mean,
kidding.
I
That's
know,
what
but
it's kind of like Overwatch.
I'd rather play Call of Duty, but okay.
Overwatch is the greatest team shooter on the planet right now. But anyway, and you can at me. We can fight that. At not my fault for real. Anyway, and so it's like cartoony and so on, and they did this because one of the problems that PUBG faces, and he was saying earlier, is that it's not particularly optimized well. And by that, like, there's a bunch of like
especially
glitchy
for
things.
Xbox.
Oh yeah, on Xbox is brutal, man.
It's bad.
And
This is Fortnite.
no, this is PUBG.
No.
Oh, PUBG. Okay.
Like it's frame rate problems, it's clipping and
Kind
so
of noticed
on.
that when I've watched like clips, like kind of seen that. Yeah.
You'll come in and like the building textures and so on won't be like ready for you. Like you'll come in and you can't even
Not
get into a
fully
building
loaded
yet.
yet,
You gotta
yeah.
wait. The game hasn't loaded. It's just weird. Like there's a bunch of different technical issues.
They
but
basically rushed it. It's not even like
Yeah.
in a 1.0 status. Like
Hence the
it's
$29.99
still
price,
they still
right?
call it beta. Yeah, they still call it a beta,
Yeah.
especially for Xbox. And you know they're pushing updates. They're listening to the community, but it's definitely frustrating. And not only that, I mean, I'm on the Xbox One instead of the Xbox One X. This is the doc trolling me right now so hard. I asked him about PUBG on Xbox, and he went on a rant. I gotta go find the clip.
yeah.
Who's
So,
this?
This is Doc Disrespect.
One of his
I
mechanisms.
told him, Doc, I made the mistake of purchasing this game on Xbox. You're right. It's an atrocity. This company is out of their mind. They're terrible. And he just went like on a at least a minute and a half rant about how the company is so bad. And this guy, he used to work for Call of Duty, Sledgehammer Games.
Yeah.
Dr. Disrespect?
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's why he has, you know, not to be corny, but he has respect from the gaming community for, you know, knowing how to design and develop video games and work in the community, especially from Call of Duty. Although Call of Duty is kind of like falling off the map in terms of like competitive gaming. Like people will consider it more of like a casual kind of noobish type of a video game to play. Even though I love it, I love getting the thrill out of quick kills and just like, you know, constantly respawning.
And when you think of competitive and people start talking about competitive, it's typically just PC. So COD is more of a console like shooter, and so they look at us like we're a subclass. You know, it's just like we're not.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this then. So, I mean, because I know like games like Overwatch, like they have like
Greatest game of all time.
leagues and teams and things of that nature. So, does PUBG and Fortnite do the same thing?
You can run squads in
Yeah.
PUBG and Fortnite.
Okay.
4-man squads, up to 4-man squads, 2-man duos. Duos is a lot of fun.
I know.
So there is there's kind of like we'll jump, I guess, a little bit into esports.
Yeah.
Kind of, I guess, a landscape for these battle royale games. The only problem is that a lot of people behind it say that it's too random in terms of how you land in a certain location and loot, because everything is kind of randomized, including, you know, the circle that you're within, as well as what loot you're gonna get if you go to certain buildings. So that's why they haven't taken it. They've taken it to a level where they'll have teams compete.
Yeah, that's
Most recently they'll have like 64 players compete spread out across squads just for money, but not like in a not like in a tournament bracket or like a big esports event where it's like people constantly moving to the next round. They're just kind of playing for money, like heads up. Like if you guys were playing for money heads up in NBA, we would all know what happened.
Like NBA has esports, right? NBA has esports, and they have their 2K has its league, which is actually pretty awesome to watch when those dudes get like legit. And so this game isn't really conducive to that because there's too many variables going on, and a lot of it is like who gets the gun first, especially Fortnite. Like Fortnite is ridiculous with that shit.
Yeah,
and
so it's not like an even playing field. So
actually, they haven't done an event yet for Fortnite, at least that I know of.
Maybe that's what
PUBG they are.
Maybe that's what that whole new mode of theirs is, like that golden gun thing where everybody's legendary, like they all have equal guns. Like that's one of the.
They want to take it there. I mean, they have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Even your favorite game on mobile has put up a 600K.
So there's a where are they from? There's a developer from somewhere. I can't remember, but I don't know where they're from. I'll look them up really quickly.
We'll say Europe for sure. It's definitely on that side of the planet.
Yeah, it's definitely on the other side of the world. Anyway, it's called Rules of Survival.
Yeah,
and it's a legit PUBG clone.
Oh yeah, they ripped off
the exact same game.
The game, but
like,
for mobile.
They should be sued at how much it's the exact same game.
It actually runs
and it runs
pretty
better.
awesome, yo.
And it runs better.
I know a lot of. I see a lot of my coworkers, and they play, excuse me, mobile games.
Oh God,
Clash Royale.
Warcraft probably.
Clash Royale.
Or no,
No,
Clash
I
Royale,
mean,
Clash
I've
Royale.
seen some of my coworkers. They play like games like with guns. Or I don't know what the game is, but I'm like,
That's the game. Rule of survival. It's amazing.
There's other ones that are first person, but
Okay.
I'm sorry. Me personally, I cannot play video games on my phone. I mean, the
neither.
only game I could probably ever play is probably
I used to, but then I had to stop.
No, you play-
It became a plague.
He plays that running game. What the fuck is the name of that shit?
Fun Run. Fun Run.
like Maze Runner or
No, it's
Subway
like
Surfer?
it's like Maze Runner, but instead of going forward, you're going sideways.
Okay.
It's like a 2D. It's like Sonic the Hedgehog type, but it's all multiplayer. So you're playing versus real people.
He's been playing this for like 2 years.
I stopped.
Like,
I stopped.
I mean,
I stopped when NFL
if
started.
if it's Telltale, right?
Yeah.
That's the company, right? Like they made like Batman and
Yeah,
those
The
are
Walking
good
Dead
moments.
ones.
Walking
good
Dead.
moments.
Like
Yeah.
I have played those. Yes,
Those are cool.
I can get behind that.
Those are cool.
and I can play that on either my Xbox or PlayStation.
They're
or,
a lot of
or
fun.
my phone. Yeah, or a
They're
tablet.
engaging. Like you keep you kind of
Exactly,
thinking.
but those other games, I just can't get behind it. I'm sorry. Nope.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
don't
tough,
know.
man. It's like different genres for different people.
I can say safely, I've invested the most amount of gaming time in the last 6 months, maybe a little more than that, on Clash Royale. That's a mobile game. Like I play that every
Yeah, you
day,
play that?
and it's
Yeah,
just
I've
because
heard
I
of
can
it,
play
yeah.
it quickly. That's the thing about it. It's so quick. Like I can take it. I'm walking to work. I'm taking a poop. Everywhere. It's just I can use my phone and just play that game really quickly. And it's more like that's more card style. I want to say it's not even cards, but you know, it's a weird game, but it's fun and it's accessible, and everyone should play it. And at me, leche, I'll bust that ass. Anyway, and back to PUBG and this Rule of Survival clone. It's literally the same game.
Yeah.
Rule of Survival. That's what it's called.
Rule of
Yeah,
Survival.
download it and just try it
it's-
out.
It's on the computer,
Yeah.
right? Isn't it on PC?
It is, yeah. It is
Okay.
on PC.
And it's dope. It is dope. Like it's the
Take a look
exact
at
game,
this
and it
game.
plays
Yeah.
better than PUBG. Like it's optimized.
Yeah, yeah.
Optimized. You know.
No, so they ran a $600,000 esports event.
Get out of here.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you.
Get out of here.
Yeah, people couldn't believe it. Yes, they just ran and
Jeez.
looked them up. Just type in Rules of Survival esports. They're running these big ass events because they have millions of downloads in the store. It's free to play, and they just want the viewership. They just want people to download their game, add revenue, and
Yeah,
them
so
it's easy money.
You can see Fortnite's gonna get there.
I mean, I'm looking at the reviews for this Rule of Survival, and like the first review says, Rules of Survival is a great game. I can't stop playing it. So like that's like first thing.
Yeah,
It's really good, man. It is really good. And honestly, it made me almost buy the little like controller add-ons for
Yeah,
your phone because I
yeah.
was like, yeah, maybe I'll do it on my phone with a little controller add-on. I can rock it because I can't really do the touchscreen.
So-
Oh wow, this is like PUBG. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
the same
it
game.
runs just like it. It's actually really cool. They even added
They update
an
all the
element where there's 300 players in an arena
Well, this one
versus
says
a 100.
Well, this one says 100 and right here it says 120 player battle royale.
Yeah, so it's actually bigger than 100. They also added a beta version where you go in and there's 300 people
Wow.
facing off. It's pretty sick.
That's crazy.
We need a doc on
Yeah, so
this.
everyone's kind of like jumping on the wave, right? Like taking advantage of the battle royale genre. PUBG, who actually came off of another video game. H1Z.
We need the doc on Rules of Survival.
Yeah, he loves that game. There are actually people streaming on Twitch.
He plays it?
No, he calls it that other game on mobile that's more optimized.
That's
There's
another-
actually people streaming it, and they have a tablet up, and they're
Yeah, I mean, you can get the connector for like
Yeah.
your iPhone or your tablet or whatever, and you run straight off of the device. Yeah, and it'll just stream
but
straight up.
you see the little buttons showing. Instead of them using controls, they're actually like using the actual tablet to play, which is cool.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny that he actually calls it out. I never noticed that he calls it out.
Yeah, he called it out. I'd rather play that other game on mobile that's way more optimized than this game.
So
And
that's a
it has
problem.
to be that one because that's the only one
It's
that's,
the only one.
that
And
has a following.
that's the problem with PUBG versus Fortnite. PUBG technically to me is the better game, a lot more fun, a lot more engrossing. Fortnite is kind of like all of the best elements that I guess PUBG has. Like it keeps that action going. Like it gets you in there super fast. They kept that cartoon style because it's easy for them to go ahead and scale that out, right?
Right.
Like you don't have to load up these human textures and gun maps and all that sort of stuff. And it's just it's fun. It is fun. You come in and you land somewhere, and within 2 seconds of landing, you're in a firefight. You know what I mean? Where to quote the doc, it's play unknown's boring ground sometimes, man. You could be in a 15-minute match
Blue
and not
balls.
see anybody from Blue Balls Entertainment.
I think, but that's a reflection of the world. Everybody wants it now. So I mean, that's the way the world is. So if Fortnite is now. I mean, yeah.
Well, the map in PUBG is huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Like you need a vehicle sometimes to get across that map. Fortnite, you can run across the map. Like it's a tighter map, you know. But the style is different, and they both play similar. They're different enough to not be able to get sued by one another, you know. But
if I had to put two major differences between the games, PUBG makes me a little bit more nervous, and like I get right where if you're in a top 10 situation, you get tense. Everything's dead silence, and you'll hear a gunshot. And if you have your headphones on, you're shook. Where in Fortnite, everyone's just running around. You hear footsteps. It's kind of corny, but it's fun. And it's every kill feels the same way. And that's, to reference a dog, there's no actual excitement in killing someone. You don't see any blood. It's just like people disappear. It's a little bit of a cheesy game where, why the kids are kind of leaning towards it, but I'd rather play PUBG as well. I'm not gonna lie, Garcia. I know you want me to make the switch.
PUBG.
Whoa.
So you're advocating for Fortnite then?
So lately I've been playing Fortnite. I'll be honest.
Whoa.
Again, Borat. Again. I've been playing Fortnite, but honestly, I would prefer PUBG. But the game is just broken, man. It's just broken. The other night I turned off Fortnite and I put on PUBG, and I literally parachuted in. And I parachute into like this military base they have, which I usually go to because I like fighting, right? So you go to the base, and I go to the same exact spot that I always go to, but somebody was there before me, right? And the texture hadn't loaded yet. And by the texture, I mean like the building wasn't loaded yet.
Sound good.
Yeah, the building didn't load yet. And I already know from playing the game, don't go in the building until that shit loads because sometimes you get stuck in the walls and shit. Like it's crazy. It's dumb like that.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things that's just like it's not friendly. So
Annoying.
as I walk into the building, it finally loaded up. I walk into the building, I'm like, okay, I start grabbing a weapon really quick. And I scoot over to like this, I guess at this point I thought it was a room because the building hadn't loaded completely. I go over to my left, I get in there, then it finally loads, and what happens? I'm behind a chain link fence, and I couldn't move. Like I was stuck, and I couldn't get out the game. I couldn't shoot. I couldn't find weapons. I couldn't do anything.
Did somebody shoot you though while you were on the fence?
No, I was standing around. All I hear is footsteps and everything. And I was like, you know what? I just quit the match, and I was like, this fucking game is still broken. I can't play this shit. And I backed out and started playing Fortnite because unfortunately Fortnite plays well. It does. It's optimized, and it's just Blue Balls Entertainment. Get your shit together. Get your shit together.
One thing we didn't kind of talk about, right, is like the difference in the games. Besides the actual cartoony versus the realism, is that in Fortnite you're building structures by gaining materials. Yeah. You're knocking down wood. You're gaining materials, and kind of adds a different element to the game, which has never been introduced in any game that I've probably ever played, where you're building forts. That's why they call it Fortnite. You're building forts, walls, ramps to kind of like block your enemies or kind of engage in battles in ways where you're meeting up to them by building certain forts and kind of protecting yourself or just kind of climbing towards them and getting the upper advantage on them. And that adds another twist to the game.
Well, let me ask this, because I know PUBG was like I think a half-made game, and they just decided to release it. Like that's kind of like the story behind it, somewhere, so to speak, right? Well, what's the story behind Fortnite? Because I can understand, like you said, it's a beta, so they put it out there at $29.99, but then you see Fortnite and it's free. So like, what's the story behind that game?
Yeah, so PUBG actually came. It's a derivative of, or a mod, you would say, from H1Z1, which was this other game that's kind of very similar, but it was a more survival-based.
It's still active, too.
Yeah, it's still very active. It's survival-based. That one's like zombies and stuff, and then it turned into a bunch of different things. And with that kit, and I forgot what game it's Arma. I think Arma was the original game. H1Z1 was a mod from that. And then PUBG became a mod of H1Z1. And what that was, they turned that battle royale genre and all that stuff. So it came from that. So it wasn't a complete game in the sense that they didn't build up a game. Rather, they built a mode within a game that existed. Like they used the assets within the game and the code and so on to build something else and do their own thing. And they did that. So with that, they've been patching it, dropping new versions and so on. And they've been doing this on PC, which is kind of like it's synonymous with PC. Like this is what they do. People release games that are in alpha or in beta. They release it to the public, maybe charge you $10, $20, and you understand you're buying a game that's not complete, but you're getting constant patches. You're getting things like weekly.
They basically modified, and when we say mod for the novices, they modified an existing game and made it their own.
Yeah.
Used all used all the core functions and kind of development behind it, and added their own twist to it, and are pushing it, as their own game. And that's kind of how, like, even like a GTAs of the world, where they have the mod of the latest mod for GTA is that people are using it as a role-playing game where they're not actually fighting.
It's fucking hilarious.
Like, people are just living in a GTA world where you just like a regular, almost like Sims. Like, if you ever played Sims, people are just walking around and kind of role-playing their way through GTA, and it's pretty funny to see how all these games
Put the shotgun. Better have a shotgun. You know why? Because this game sucks.
But yeah, at GTA, they live through it. Like, and one of the funniest GTAs, I can't remember the name right now. They pretend to be like a tranny hooker. And there's a walk through, and it's just hilarious. It's hilarious. Like, the YouTube clips are everywhere. We'll put them up on this YouTube video, and you'll see the links to it. We'll share out, but they're funny clips, man. And and people mod it out that way. You take a game and you do something else, and so that's how they built PUBG, and they went through that route. Whereas Fortnite is made by Epic, and Epic is a big time game studio. They're the dudes that did Gears of War. Like, they're those guys. They made before that. What was it? Their biggest game was.
Oh yeah, Epic is Gears of War. Yeah,
their Gears of War, but before then it was Unreal. Unreal was their thing, and they make Unreal Engine. They're a big time studio, and they have big time talent out there, a lot of money, all that stuff. And PUBG's a smaller developer. In Korea, it's Korean developers,
South
he
Korea.
calls them, and they're not in Korea, but the guy just makes fun of them. Doc he says they're developers in Korea.
Please go watch Dr. Disrespect.
Please, yes. We've been referencing him so much that you have to watch this guy.
He's kind of like, if you ever grew up watching wrestling, WWE.
Yeah.
You get that feeling like he's an adult and he talks about like real life situations, and if you're a gamer, it's just funny and you can relate. It doesn't seem too cheesy like WWE. It's kind of you feel like you can relate to him a little bit more.
The good Stone Cold days of WWE. That's who he is, But
this game
that's basically him in a nutshell.
it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace to game development.
You should put that
To the game development industry.
That's it, man. Blue Balls Entertainment. Get your shit together. Get it together, because you have a wonderful game, man. Microsoft invested heavily in that game. They've been pushing it on the console and everything. Like, it's a big win to get PUBG on the consoles, and it's because it's such a big game, right? But anyway, so Epic, what they did is they dropped this game, Fortnite. Like, they've been building it for a while, and what Fortnite was really initially about was building these forts, and it was this, like, player versus environment thing where you have a squad of up to 4 people, and you're fighting zombies that are coming at you, and you're able to build up like fucking forts and build walls and grab materials all over the place. And that game is actually pretty fun. And just, you're protecting like a zone basically. And then with the popularity of PUBG, like last year it was just all PUBG. Like PUBG for the last year and a half, anyways. And PUBG, the greatest thing on the internet, Twitch, all that sort of stuff. PUBG, the hottest game out. That's why Microsoft was like fiending to get the game out there, and they released an unreleased game on Xbox. So it's unreleased. It's not complete. I'm sorry, unreleased, an incomplete game on Xbox, which is what we're playing now. Why I parachute in and I get a fucking building that isn't completely isn't loading up. And they're patching it. I just dropped an update today.
They're kind of selling out. They're basically selling out. They signed that deal with Microsoft, and they pushed a game that wasn't ready. Still not ready. Even after this update that's supposedly coming within the next 24 hours.
I had it. Yeah, I downloaded it today. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Still not gonna be
5 gigs.
Still not gonna be as good as where Fortnite is, and they came out a year after.
Yeah, they're working hard on the Xbox. I'm giving them a hard time because I paid for the shit and I understood it wasn't complete.
But you got to give them credit because they grinded their way. This one dude kind of, made his own game.
This is where I give PUBG a lot of credit. It's a small studio. The game is broken and it's still fun to play though.
Yeah.
Like, it's a pain in the ass, but it's still fun to play. Millions of people play it because it's a fun game, even though it's broken. That's
and people still talk about it. That kind of, you build buzz around that. Like, this game's so terrible.
It's a
I'm gonna
disgrace.
keep playing it until it's better.
It's a disgrace, just like Doc said. So, So that was the core game of Fortnite. And then Epic saw how popular this mode was. And all they did was basically mod their own game into a battle royale format. And they copied literally everything from PUBG and released it free to play on the console before PUBG got there. But
I feel now it's kind of like blossomed into its own beast.
Yeah, it has. It's outshined. PUBG. I think
you don't hear that argument anymore. Like, oh, you're copying. In the beginning, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Now it's like
it's better though.
Yeah.
It's better. It's optimized. It's better.
But Fortnite is for across all platforms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's PC, PS4, and Xbox. It's another thing. So
and free. So I go load up my Xbox, like hood people that grew up were like, damn, they're all playing Fortnite squads, and I'm like, God damn, I jump into their party. I'm like, yo,
it's free to play, and it's a good free to play game. Like no disrespect to Fortnite, even though it's talking shit here. It's a good free to play.
But yo,
it's good free to play.
I downloaded that shit right away. I was like, free? Why not?
You ain't got no money. You ain't got no money. You load
You
up.
kind of
Fortnite,
feel like
playing it.
stupid if you're not taking advantage of this. Like,
and with it being free, social media is taking it to another thing. Like you go to Instagram, World Star's talking about it. Fucking World Star.
yeah.
World Star's talking about Bleacher Report.
So it's
Sports.
inherited like a hood.
It's become pop culture.
It's inherited a pop culture, a hood culture, sports culture. They're kind of all associating. I think when Harden cooked Wes Johnson the other night, they did a Fortnite version of it, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
You didn't see it?
No. But I saw. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things out there with Harden and Wes Johnson, but I saw one where like they play like the what was it, the Titanic music, like the theme when Jack dies or whatever. Yo, that
was probably one of the biggest ones on Twitter. For sure.
That was hilarious, man. That was crazy. But
Shout out Worldwide Wob. He's like the strongest follow on Twitter. Gotta shout that out before I forget. I know the Knicks version of this cast will definitely get that.
Yeah,
get his mentions.
Yeah, he's a big Knicks fan, so.
That's the sound of the treasure chest.
That's the Fortnite chest.
Yeah.
That right there you find. It's a gold chest, and inside of it you got like legendary weapons, rares, and so on, like shield potions and stuff like that. You know. Yeah. And you hear them. You hear that sound, and you're like, that shit is in the wall somewhere.
So
and start looking for
here's
it.
like, you just made me get a good comparison of PUBG is like, for me, like underground hip hop, where I feel like it's my own little thing.
No. PUBG's more than underground.
And
like you gotta get out of
like
the commercial.
The commercial whack hip hop that everyone is listening to, everyone is playing, and to an extent, the production is probably better.
Mm-hmm. That's Fortnite, right?
Yeah, the production is better. The lyrics may not be better, but that would be my comparison to it. Like
God's plan.
Like my guilty pleasure is like listening to like some cheesy ass Drake, and that's my Fortnite. But at the end of the day, I always go back to my my underground real.
But you know what? Listening to everything you guys are saying, what I'm thinking about, what's jumping out to me is that so Xbox buys PUBG, right? So you're thinking, because Xbox has obviously been struggling in terms of standalone games.
It was a big win for them
versus PlayStation. So that's like a big win. But then I'm thinking, so I'm like, wow, that's good because I mean I've read like there's rumors of Xbox potentially buying like EA Sports because that's how bad they're doing in terms of standalone games. So I'm thinking like, wow, okay, so damn, all right, so now they got PUBG. That's a big win. You know what I mean? So maybe there's kids that'll buy an Xbox just for that game. But then
they've been bundling.
There's
PUBG
another
with
game coming right now.
Yeah,
but don't you think? But this is going to lead to my point, though. Don't you think now with Fortnite out that there's kids that are going to say, well, you know what? No, I'll just stay with Fortnite. So it's kind of like an L for Xbox in a sense.
It is.
So it's an L in some sense in that they paid for PUBG and Fortnite is doing their thing, but they still have Fortnite too. It's not like they're excluded from that. They have Fortnite on computer. They have it on PCs. Mm-hmm. Listen, so everyone, I'm gonna say this to all these fucking Sony fanboys because I'm always in battles about this.
And I want to say this too. Like I have a PS4, I have an Xbox One, I have both. And me personally, I will say this: I enjoy like the interface, if you will, the way the Xbox is. I enjoy the Xbox way more. But I will say that in terms of standalone games, because I'm a big Naughty Dog fan because of Last of Us.
Come on, greatest of all time.
Yeah, I mean Last of Us. You got what am I thinking of?
Uncharted.
Uncharted, exactly. Yeah. So, like those games, like I have to have those games. So that's why I have a PS4 just alone for that. But
I mean, I
Rightfully so.
piggybacking that, I'll agree totally because I don't own a PS4, but I'm buying a PS4 this month because God of War comes out, and I will not, not play God of War.
The
I will
show,
not play that.
Yeah.
So I mean, Sony has that. Sony has that.
Yeah.
But for all those Sony fanboys and everybody else who talks all this shit about Sony, the world runs on PC. I'm running a Mac right now, but the world runs on PC. You know what I'm saying? So
Windows,
Microsoft
baby.
got that.
Windows.
Microsoft got that. So y'all can chill with your PlayStations. Xbox is still winning. Anyway.
So Mike brought up a good point in terms of like standalone.
Exactly.
Microsoft is taking that next step. Actually, they've already taken it where
A lot of good things
so
are
the
coming
big
this
thing
year.
with like
A lot of good
PUBG
things.
and these video games on PC is that they're all kind of purchased through Steam, which is is like a console, if you will. It's like it's comparable to like
They have their Steam
Microsoft,
machines.
right?
They have Steam
yeah,
machines.
they have Steam machines as well. So now Microsoft is saying, all right, you have Steam where you have all these games. Now we're gonna have our Microsoft game kind of our game library, if you will, and they're pushing out this new game, Sea of Thieves, which I'm gonna promote the hell out of. It's coming next month.
Thieves.
It's
very much
first
in the Fortnite
person
style.
It's a first person Fortnite style game, whereas it's very cartoony, but you're playing as actual pirates with your boys. It's online only, and you're like in the middle of the sea, treasure hunting and shooting the hell out of random boats that you.
that's going to be exclusively to Xbox.
That's Xbox
Xbox and PC, but
Okay. It's
but
a
you
Microsoft
need
brand studio.
but you
Microsoft
need
studio.
you need to have the Microsoft console like on your PC or on Xbox, of course, to
obviously,
download.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then-
it's totally Microsoft. Sony fanboy, sorry, you're not getting that game.
And
man.
so the reason I'm bringing that up is that a lot of the big Twitch streamers are already kind of like, oh, I can't wait till this game drops, because they're gonna make it their main game, and when they make that their main game, that drives more viewership, that drives people to like.
Right.
That's how I started to get into other games where I'm like, oh damn, this guy's playing.
Yeah.
I'm watching how they play. I'm learning.
Yeah.
I want to play that game,
And-
and they love that. They feed off that because
you
they want
gotta,
people.
you
to
gotta, you gotta
build
tell the
buzz off
people
that.
about a little bit more about Sea of Thieves. We hit you over the head right now with Sea of Thieves, right?
Yeah.
So Sea of Thieves.
Is it going to be like? Are they going to
Actually, there's another open
it's
beta.
a full retail game, man. It's a full
retail game.
But
Full
yeah,
retail game.
but if you pay $10 a month on the Xbox Game Pass, it's now Xbox is including their exclusive games free if you
Okay.
pay that $10 a fee
all
per
right,
month.
but now we're hitting them over the head a lot with a lot of information. So we're gonna hit you with Game Pass in a second. So
Did you know if you had Twitch and if you have a Prime account, you can subscribe to the Not My Fault podcast
Yes,
for
you could.
free,
For free.
once a month.
for free, use that Amazon Prime subscription. Twitch Prime is what they call it. You can line it on. Listen, if you're not gonna give it to me, just give it to the doc. That's it. But outside of that, you come into NMF Pod, subscribe. It's really quick, easy. Use your Prime account. But back to Sea of Thieves. So Sea of Thieves is made by none other than Rare.
Yeah.
Oh, rare.
Rare, yeah, GoldenEye, Perfect
Donkey
Dark.
Kong, yeah.
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Rare. And those boys
yo-
know how to make games, man. And this game, by everyone's account, I played it. The Dallas played it. And if you go all over Twitter or even like just search the web Sea of Thieves, it's been nothing but positive feedback on that game. Like it is insanely fun to play.
And it's already gotten a lot of respect from the hardcore grinding Twitch gamers that already have a huge following where they're like, oh damn, hell yeah, this game is like mad fun. It's funny while they're playing it. They're like people arguing amongst themselves like, oh, why are we letting these dudes take our boat out? Like you're literally from scratch. When you land on an island, you have to take your boat and take it to seas and control every aspect of the boat, from the sails down to the cannonballs,
cannons
to
fixing
when
the
the
boat.
boat is getting hit up, you have to patch it up and take water out the boat. Yo, it's
So
like
you'll have different guys with different.
Yeah, you work together.
so
now, we can all do the
there's
same
three,
shit.
there's
I mean,
three
four
levels.
of us can
There's
do the
three
same.
levels. There's like if you're like an elite player, you could take yourself on a single boat. If it's you and your boy, which is cool. And how I was playing with Garcia, trying to show him the ropes, even though I think he was drunk that one night. I'm not sure, or he was ordering tacos. You could do like a 2-man boat, or the most popular is a 4-man boat amongst.
So
you
how
and
did
three
you
other-
how did you play it already though?
beta?
Yeah, the beta.
Beta.
yeah.
Okay.
Actually, there's another. They unleashed it again this weekend. I just got
Oh, it's
the
open again?
notification last night. Yeah.
Oh my God! So as a beta participant, I pre-ordered the game and I got beta access. And so they've been letting us play this game.
Oh, it's only through pre-order where you get the beta access.
Yeah, although
they're gonna do
like
they're gonna do an open beta.
Yeah.
They're gonna do an open beta, and
I
it'll
mean, I
probably
would
be
think that would
coming.
be the smart thing to do.
Yeah, they've been doing these closed betas, but there's an open one coming very, very soon. But anyway, so the game, like you said, you get the one man boat, the 2-man scooter, and then you get the galleon. The galleon is the big boat with like 6 cannons and all this sort of stuff. But it's insanely fun because you're working with people, whether they're strangers, which is the first game I've played in a long time where I'm actually having fun with strangers, kids and adults alike.
Yeah, I added like random weird people on my friends list.
Yeah, and it's just like you run around. And to this point, it's the hilarity of like you land as a pirate. The whole goal is you go to like this little shop, the shopkeeper or like the mission keeper. You go to him. He gives you the mission of where you're gonna go get a new treasure, and that's it. You're just getting treasure, bringing it back. Getting treasure, bringing it back. There's probably a lot more to this game, but they haven't unveiled it yet outside of the beta. But in the beta, it's just getting the treasure, bringing it back. But it's so much fun to go get that treasure and get it back.
As you're going, you could run into random online people.
Other people.
That are going either for other treasure or they're just looking for people to rob. So that you could just rob each other's treasure.
Oh, wow.
And then bring it back and get cash for it.
Like,
so
Vidal and
that's
I-
what makes it the whole...
Vidal and I are
we got into
playing,
like crazy fights.
and we go.
Oh,
get our
you
first-
went to get your tacos, and I was like, "Yo, I got into a fight while you were gone." I was like, my boat was falling apart, and she comes back, "Hey, how we doing?" I'm like trying to control the. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, like
It's
you
a
got
lot
hit
of
with
fun.
cannon fire, and as you get hit with cannon fire, there's holes in your boat, so you got to go in and you got to patch the holes in the boat. And
Right.
somebody got to take an actual bucket of water and you scoop the water out and throw it out of the boat so that you don't fucking like sink.
The
and
biggest
shit.
thing is like it's just a big fun element to the game where it's
Yeah.
like you feel like it's not like this crazy first person shooter where
Yeah.
you're kind of constantly looking for kills. It's just like you're having fun, you're doing missions, and it's a
So you
great
know what
all around game.
You know what? You played Assassin's Creed Black Flag, right?
Yeah, but I didn't like it.
You didn't like Black Flag?
No.
I loved Black Flag. It's actually my favorite Assassin's Creed was Black Flag.
really?
But Black Flag, I loved the biggest part I loved was on the boat when you get into fighting the other boats.
I'll be honest, like I'm not big with the boat stuff. That's
Okay.
why I don't know about the CFDs. I mean, I'll try it out, but like I was saying earlier, the game I played the most recently was Assassin's Creed Origins, which is the latest in Assassin's Creed and probably the best one since the NCO games.
I haven't played Origins yet.
Like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and all that. But there are several moments where you play as the main character's wife, and she's an assassin too, but she's on a boat, and you have to basically destroy the other boats or whatever. And I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's alright. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm not big into it.
The reason I brought up Black Flag is because that part of Black Flag was pretty cool with the pirates and all that stuff and the boats, right?
Yeah.
I remember that. And that system, this is like 10 times that in terms of like...
Because there's more going on, right? So
Yeah.
Not necessarily more going on, but like they fully fleshed it out and the game is kind of like, that is the mode of the game. Everything else is kind of like
it has
secondary.
also like a role-playing element where you gotta gain up money, you build up your player.
Right.
Yeah.
You could do little dance moves. You could drink liquor.
Yeah,
you
get
could
drunk in the
literally
game,
drink
yeah.
liquor and in the game drink beer and like while you're on a mission.
I
or
feel
on a
like,
fight.
didn't Rare make Conquer? They make Conquer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Conquer's Bad Fur Day
Rare-
was amazing, man. I remember that.
Rare's been around for like over 20 years.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah.
Minimum.
They did
Then we got our-
Luigi's Mansion and all that shit, right? Didn't they do that?
'Cause I mean, I think
What's
they're
up, right?
Almost.
Okay.
the original Donkey Kong, maybe part 2 with Diddy Kong. That's like what 90.
Donkey Kong Country you're talking
96?
about.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country. That's like 96. He's almost 22 years.
Think so?
Hey,
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
96.
Could've
At least.
been, nah,
minimum.
I think it was.
No,
It
2000s.
was more than 96. It might have been 94.
Yeah,
Something
well,
like that.
I mean,
No,
I think the
94.
original Donkey Kong Country
Yeah.
was 94. I'm talking about like the second one. I think it was like 96 or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
I think the original's like 94, 92, something like that. But
And I remember playing it, you would see that rare, that emblem. You know?
Yeah.
It's them
Killer
again.
Instinct,
It's
right?
them
Killer
again.
Instinct
Yeah,
was
Killer
Killer
Instinct.
Instinct, yeah, I didn't know that.
They made phenomenal games, and this is the latest one in the bunch, and it's a Microsoft exclusive. And what we were talking about with Game Pass just briefly is like, so Microsoft has come out with their own like Netflix like service for video games that's totally for the Xbox consoles. I'm not sure if it's PC yet, but I know it's Xbox consoles. And what it is you pay $10 a month and you get access to 100 games a month. You download them and you play them 100 any game you want. 100 games of
been
this
playing
library
Mad
that they
Max.
give you. And they have their static games that'll always stay there, and those are the Microsoft exclusives. And then they have other third-party games that come in and out. They kind of just switch them up. The same Netflix kind of idea with movies where, what's leaving Netflix this month, what's coming in this month. That's kind of how they're doing it
It's
with that.
got to be the future of gaming, right? Like
They're onto something with it. They're
Right?
onto something with it. They bundle it now with the console. Some of it's like you get 3 months of Game Pass with it, whatever. And they're pushing it big time. And now their latest win is that all of their exclusive games, new and old, are on that platform. So to his point, like I pre-ordered Sea of Thieves because I don't have Game Pass. But if I would just go to Game Pass,
I cancel my pre-order.
Yeah, you cancel your pre-order and you get Sea of Thieves the day it drops. It's not like you got to wait a month.
I paid the $10. I downloaded like a couple games I could play around, get my money's worth, and then when that drops, I know I'm gonna be playing it. So,
and that's $10 a month. It's a subscription. It's another subscription.
Even though it adds up, make sure to
it's $120.
Make sure to pay attention to all your subscriptions.
Yeah,
put them in a spreadsheet.
Seriously,
it's an issue if you have too many subscriptions to too many things. Prime. It adds up. It's so make sure you're taking advantage of your subscriptions.
Yeah. You cut
because
the cord.
I made the mistake. You don't want to be that guy. I don't even know I was subscribed and just call and like request refunds for like 3 months. You don't want to be that pathetic loser.
They're not giving you 3-month refunds, baby. You're not getting it. You're not getting it. So once they see that download, you're done.
Make sure it's worth it. Write it all down. Right.
No,
we should have a finance episode.
They're not giving us any money for this, but in all honesty, I think this subscription is kind of worth it. If you're a gamer, you get access to.
You know what they did too with Mad Max? Games. They said if you play 10 hours, you get included into this raffle where you could win 25. So play 10 hours of Mad Max. Yeah, so that's another way where they try to push the best game on their monthly platform. Play it this amount of hours.
2K is on it. 17.
No.
17.
NBA Live. Whack.
No, 2K is on it, but it's like 17.
NBA Live sucks. I mean, no, I have the only.
I want to say that NBA Live was on. Oh, no.
Live is on it, but 2K is on it. But
the only subscription I have, as far as game wise, is EA Access. I mean, I know NBA Live is on.
EA Access kind of started this. EA Access started this.
They were the original.
And this is another, so you Sony fanboys, fuck Sony. They don't allow EA Access on there because they wanted to drop their bullshit Sony, PS Everywhere or some shit, or PS Now, I think they call it, which is insane. You pay $60 to stream a game. It's a bullshit service. And EA Access was way better than that. So, but EA Access started this, and so Microsoft has kind of piggybacked that, I should say, and done the Game Pass, and they fleshed it out maybe even more. So I mean, time will tell how popular this is going to be, but I think it'll be like the future of what we do with video games because everything is going subscription. I mean, your phone is going subscription, movies,
Volvo.
sound, Volvo, cars are going subscription. Volvo has it $600 a month. You get insurance, maintenance, and your car note done, flat fee. Like, I mean, brand new car. Why wouldn't you do that, right?
It's crazy when you think about it, man.
Yeah, I mean, outside of $600 a month, but if you think about what you're paying in terms of maintenance, gas, and all that sort of, you're probably somewhere near it. And they're doing it just one box fee, boom, everything except gas for $600 a month. So I mean, everything is getting to that model for the within the near future or within the next decade, And so Microsoft is just leading the curve, I think, with gaming and doing that. And you'll probably see more of it as people, as it picks up steam. No disrespect to Steam, but yeah.
Hopefully it helps them out because, like I said before, I mean, with the standalone games, the only games I can really think of for Xbox are, I guess, Forza, Gears of War,
on there. All the
and
Gears
Halo.
are on there. All the Forzas on there. All of Halos are on there.
I mean,
like everything Microsoft, they put up there because they own that. That's the problem is that they don't own the third-party games. So like Activision, these guys maybe don't want to be on the streaming service. They want you to buy the $60 game as opposed to take a cut of whatever they get from the stream. But I mean, time will tell. Once it picks up steam, everybody's going to want to be part of it. Nobody want to be on Netflix, and now they're the biggest game in town, So it's one of those things. And yeah. So on that note, we're going to cut this here. That's the gaming episode 20. Thank you for listening. Thank you for enjoying the show. If you did enjoy it, if we made you angry, if you're a Sony fanboy and we hurt you, that's not my fault. It's not our fault.
Still love you, Sony.
You need to do better. You make better choices in life. Go get an Xbox. But with that said, man, as always, we love you. We're gonna end this here today, and adios.
Not my fault.